This week, former U.S. President Donald Trump made headlines by publicly asking Israel's President Isaac Herzog to pardon Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Instead of a private conversation, Trump sent an official letter, dated November 12, 2025, directly to Herzog's office. Such direct involvement by a former American leader in another country's legal affairs is rare, especially with a close ally like Israel. Netanyahu has been on trial for years, facing corruption charges he denies. Trump's letter is a bold show of support for Netanyahu and has reignited debate about justice and politics in Israel. Some Israelis agree with Trump, calling the trial unfair. Others insist no one is above the law. The letter forces both nations to reconsider the balance between friendship, law, and political influence. President Herzog now faces the challenge of respecting a former U.S. president while upholding Israeli law. The timing is critical, as Israel is already dealing with post-war tensions and political divisions. Trump's intervention adds complexity to an already volatile situation. Will this help Netanyahu or create more problems? How will Israelis react to outside pressure? This story is about more than two leaders. It's about the rule of law, political alliances, and the future of Israeli democracy. We'll explore Trump and Netanyahu's relationship, the trial, Israel's pardon process, and the political fallout. One letter has sparked a global conversation about power, justice, and international friendship. To understand this story, let's look at the two main figures. Donald Trump, the 45th U.S. president, is a businessman turned politician known for his America First approach and controversial style. Even after leaving office, Trump remains a powerful voice in American and global politics. Benjamin Netanyahu is Israel's longest-serving prime minister and leader of the right-wing Likud party. He's seen as a tough defender of Israel, especially against threats like Iran, but is also a deeply polarizing figure. Trump and Netanyahu share a close personal and political bond. During Trump's presidency, the U.S. moved its embassy to Jerusalem and recognized Israel's control over the Golan Heights, moves that delighted Netanyahu. Their partnership was built on shared conservative values and a tough stance against their opponents. Trump's letter is rooted in this friendship. He sees Netanyahu not just as a leader, but as a loyal ally. In the letter, Trump references their joint efforts and frames the legal case as a political attack on his friend. This personal connection explains why Trump would take the extraordinary step of intervening in Israel's legal affairs. For Trump, defending Netanyahu is about loyalty and protecting their shared legacy. The story is as much about their alliance as it is about the legal case itself. Trump's influence and Netanyahu's leadership style have shaped both countries' politics. Their relationship is at the heart of this international controversy. Netanyahu's legal troubles began years ago, with formal charges announced in 2019. He's on trial for bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in 3 cases: Case 1000, 2000, and 4000. In Case 1000, Netanyahu and his wife allegedly received lavish gifts from wealthy friends in exchange for favors. Case 2000 centers on secret meetings with a newspaper owner, discussing a deal for favorable coverage in return for weakening a rival paper. Even discussing such deals can be a crime for public officials. The most serious, Case 4000, involves accusations that Netanyahu gave regulatory benefits to a telecom giant in exchange for positive media coverage. The bribery charge alone could mean up to 10 years in prison if convicted. Netanyahu denies all wrongdoing, calling the trial a politically motivated witch hunt. Prosecutors argue the evidence shows a pattern of corruption and abuse of power. The slow-moving trial has kept Israel divided and the political climate tense. The outcome could reshape Israeli politics for years. The charges are a test of Israel's commitment to the rule of law. The world is watching to see if justice will prevail, regardless of status. Trump's letter to President Herzog was anything but subtle. He praised Netanyahu as a great patriot and decisive wartime prime minister, framing him as a hero, not a defendant. Trump highlighted their partnership against Iran, arguing Netanyahu's leadership is vital for Israel and global security. He called the trial unjustified political persecution, echoing Netanyahu's own defense. Trump's message: the legal case is a political attack, not a pursuit of justice. The letter ended with a direct request. Trump urged Herzog to grant Netanyahu a full and immediate pardon. He argued this would let Netanyahu focus on leading Israel during a critical time. Trump framed the pardon as a service to the nation, not an escape from justice. The letter was a bold attempt to use his influence for a friend. It put Herzog in a difficult position, balancing international pressure with legal duty. Trump's intervention made the trial a global issue. Trump sees Netanyahu's trial through the lens of his own experiences. He believes both he and Netanyahu are targets of politically motivated witch hunts by their opponents. Trump argues that accepting gifts or negotiating with media is normal political behavior, not criminal. He claims the charges are weak and designed to remove a popular conservative leader. Loyalty is central to Trump. He defends allies who stood by him, like Netanyahu. Trump's support is also part of a broader pattern. He often backs right-wing leaders facing legal trouble worldwide. By defending Netanyahu, Trump signals his opposition to what he sees as biased legal systems. For Trump, this is about principle, loyalty, and challenging the global political establishment. His stance resonates with supporters who distrust traditional institutions. Trump's request faces a major legal hurdle: Israeli law. Only the convicted person, their family, or legal representative can request a pardon, not a foreign leader. President Herzog's office clarified that no formal request has come from Netanyahu or his family. Pardons are usually considered before a trial starts or after a verdict, not during ongoing proceedings. Granting a pardon mid-trial would be seen as interfering with the judiciary. Traditionally, pardon seekers must admit guilt and show remorse, something Netanyahu refuses to do. Opposition leader Yair Lapid stressed that a pardon requires responsibility, not denial. Herzog is bound by law and precedent, not political pressure. Trump's letter, while dramatic, has no legal standing in Israel's process. The rules make a pardon for Netanyahu at this stage highly unlikely. Trump's letter sparked immediate and polarized reactions in Israel. Netanyahu thanked Trump for his support, but avoided addressing the pardon directly, using the moment to boost his image. Opposition leader Yair Lapid condemned the letter, insisting Israel's justice system is independent and not for sale. He warned against foreign interference and reminded the public of the legal requirements for a pardon. Far-right ministers like Itamar Ben-Gvir praised Trump and called for an immediate pardon, echoing claims of political persecution. Herzog's office responded diplomatically, confirming receipt of the letter, but emphasizing that Israeli law governs pardons. No formal request from Netanyahu means the process cannot begin. Herzog signaled he would not yield to outside pressure. The episode exposed deep divisions over the rule of law and foreign influence. The debate is about more than Netanyahu. It's about Israel's democratic principles. The world is watching how Israel responds. Trump's request comes amid fierce debate over Israel's democracy. Massive protests erupted over government plans to weaken the judiciary, with many fearing a threat to democratic checks and balances. Critics saw the judicial overhaul as a way to shield Netanyahu from prosecution. The war with Hamas paused the protests, but underlying tensions remain. Trump's letter reignites the debate, emboldening those who claim the legal system is biased. Herzog must balance international relations with his duty to uphold the law. Granting a pardon now could trigger renewed protests and deepen divisions. The controversy is about more than one trial. It's about the future of Israeli democracy. Trump's intervention has made the stakes even higher. Trump's pardon request for Netanyahu is more than a headline. It's a test of democratic values. It challenges the principle that no one is above the law, even in times of crisis. The move breaks diplomatic norms, showing how personal alliances can override tradition. The timing is crucial, as Israel faces war and internal division. Supporters say a pardon would stabilize the country. Critics argue it would undermine justice. The story highlights how domestic politics and international relations are now deeply connected. What happens in Israel reverberates globally, especially with U.S. involvement. The outcome will signal the strength of democratic norms in turbulent times. The world is watching to see if justice or political power will prevail. This is a defining moment for Israel's democracy and its relationship with the U.S.